raposinhas, aqui quem fala é a Duda, esse daqui é o meu canal e caso você não é um inscrito, se inscreva. Bom gente, estamos aqui ó, do ladinho do Plaza de novo, porque nós vamos para o Paris Theatre, né, o cinema de Paris. Por quê? Porque hoje nós temos mais uma premiere, que é a adaptação do livro O Clube de Crimes das Quintas-feiras, que em inglês é The Thursday Murder Club. E é um livro que eu tenho muita vontade de ver, porque ele tem uma raposa na capa. Mas é isso, agora eu vou lá na fila e continuar filmando aí pra vocês. Eu espero que a gente consiga tirar foto com o elenco, mas eu acho que vai ser no estilo do da Sofia Carson. Eles só vão dar entrevista no palco, não vai ter parte pra tirar foto. Não sei ainda, né? Vamos ver. E é isso, acompanha o vídeo e vamos ver o que vai rolar. Eu vou gravar pra vocês o que der. E estamos aqui na fila. Gente, eu tô muito ansiosa pra esse, porque é uma adaptação de livro, vocês sabem, né? Eu como autora e escritora fico louca pra ver. E esse é um dos livros que eu mais queria ler, porque tem uma raposa na capa. E aí eu tô muito ansiosa pra ver como vai ficar, mas só de ter o cara do Mamma Mia no elenco, já sei que vai ser perfeito aquela. E estamos com as pulseiras. Agora, com pulseira pronta, é só esperar liberar pra entrar. A gente é as sétimas da fila. Eu acho que é um ótimo lugar. Ultimamente a gente tava sendo as primeiras das filas. A gente chegou aqui e não tinha ninguém. Mas aí a gente falou, não, vamos sentar ali na praça, fazer umas horas, porque o povo da agência já tava ficando um pouquinho devagar, porque a gente tava chegando antes do que eles. Hoje a gente chegou também, mas a gente não ficou na fila. Aí a gente falou, não, vamos ficar na pracinha que tem aqui do lado, né? E aí a gente entrou agora aqui na fila, somos as sétimas. E é isso, eu tô bem empolgada mesmo, acho que dá pra ver pela minha cara, né? Vocês sabem que eu não consigo disfarçar quando eu tô empolgada e quando eu não tô. Estamos entrando. Bora pegar a pipoca. Entramos na sala de cinema, estamos bem na frente. Segunda fileira, tecnicamente a primeira, né? Porque só tem duas cadeiras na nossa frente. Vai ter uma entrevista aqui com o elenco, eu acho, ou com a pessoa que escreveu o livro, né? E é isso, ó, estão colocando ainda o povo aqui dentro. Ai. Estão colocando o povo aqui dentro ainda. Como sempre, né, no Paris eles só dão a pipoquinha personalizada. Eu tenho acho que um monte de caixa de pipoca, o ingresso e água. Comer pipoca com água, gente, é a pior coisa, mas tudo bem, né? É de graça, não tem quem reclamar. E é isso, eu vou ficar bem na frente do elenco, eu vou filmar pra vocês. E é isso, não pôde tirar foto mesmo, não teve, né, foto com eles, então bem triste. Mas pelo menos a gente vai conseguir ver eles bem de pertinho. E é isso. Ah, ele chegou! Sei lá.
Good evening. Welcome to the very first screening of the Thursday Murder Club. So this is one of the first films I greenlit when I joined Netflix about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited for its debut tonight. And I can't wait for the world to see it when it premieres on August 28th, only on Netflix. So after you watch this movie, I hope you two want to join the Thursday Murder Club. Who doesn't want to spend time with our iconic cast? Helen Mirren, thank you to our director, Chris Columbus. Chris made one of the most beloved films at Netflix, The Christmas Chronicles. So we're so excited to welcome him back. Thank you also to our wonderful partners at Amblin. Their first film with us, Carry On, is one of our most popular films of all time. and they worked in great partnership with our wonderful producers, Jennifer Todd and Eleanor Columbus. Thank you also to Richard Orman. He's the incredibly talented author of the novels we've adapted. It's been an honor to help bring this screen. And finally, thank you to our Netflix team, Cassidy Lang, Jerome Hill, and our amazing marketing, publicity, events teams. Now please join me in welcoming director Chris Columbus.
Esse é o diretor do filme.
I used to come to the Plaza when I was at NYU to see, I don't know if I can say this, Woody Allen films, but we love it. We love it. This is like a wedding, so I have to thank a few people. I'll make it fast because I want you guys to see the movie. But Dan Lin, one of the great executives, thank you for greenlighting this movie. None of this would have happened. I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for Mr. Steven Spielberg. Who happened to pick up a copy of Gremlins that 50 producers rejected one night when he was leaving his office back in 1983, and the rest is history. So I got a call from him on my loft in 26th Street, which was not a great loft at the time, mice and $108 a month, but it was Steven Spielberg on the phone calling me out to LA. I have to thank everybody at Netflix, Ted and Bella and Doug. Thank you guys for supporting this film and supporting my other films over the years. This has been great, and you are a terrific company, and I love you guys. Cassidy Lang, thank you for all your support during the pre-production of this movie. And Jerome, thank you, Jerome Hall, thank you so much. Holly Berrio. Since the help, we've been working together, and she's one of the greats. And Marie Fortes, who works with Holly, has helped us very much on this. I couldn't sit down without thanking the great Terry Press, who is, after all these years, has guided me through this entire press process and will continue to guide me through London. Thank you so much. Jennifer Todd, thank you. Thank you for sending me the script. Thanks for thinking of me. I've never made a movie like this, and you really had a great vision. Thank you. But thank you so much for hiring me for this movie. Chloe Hallis, thank you for working with Jennifer and being such a big part of it. And my partner in crime for the last 10 years, this is our 14th feature together, Maiden Voyage, Eleanor Columbus. It's been a joy working with Eleanor, and we've made some movies I'm very proud of. And so thank you, Eleanor. My cinematographer, the great Don Burgess, is here tonight. Don has shot a couple of films for me, and between Robert Zemeckis and myself, he's the guy we go to, because he's the best in the business. Thomas Newman, I don't know if it's here, but he did a score that is remarkable, and you'll hear it. I just want you to be aware of his score tonight. And Richard Osman, without you, none of us would be here. I have to thank the people who are responsible for me being able to work, which is Monica Devereaux, my wife. Brenda, thank you so much for supporting me and being here tonight with me and everyone else. And the cast! I'm not supposed to invite you guys to the stage, but because we're all going to be up here later. But I can't tell you what a labor of love going to work every day on this movie was. When I walked into the first day of rehearsal with the 4 Thursday Murder Club veterans sitting in the room, I was incredibly intimidated. And it was like not only the Mount Rushmore of great British acting, but it was about 160 years of British cinema. And I had to stop my voice from shaking when I was working with him. But I have to introduce the great Sir Ben Kingsley. Thank you so much. Our third film together, I knew this guy had tremendous comedic chops when we did Mrs. Doubtfire together, and he's going to prove it tonight. Mr. Pierce Brosnan. And the glue that holds all this together, the woman who will steal your hearts and steal this movie, Miss Dame Helen Mirren. And a shout out to Celia Emery, who plays Joyce, who couldn't be here tonight, and you guys will fall in love with Celia tonight. So thank you. Thank you, New York, for being here. It's an honor to show you this movie at the Film Theater. Thanks.
E vai começar. Começou a tocar o coisa de incêndio, o alarme de incêndio, e foi a máquina de pipoca, mas falou pra gente ficar sentado e aproveitar o filme. Um filme sobre assassinato. Do nada começa a tocar alarme de incêndio, todo mundo já ficou desesperado. E a máquina de pipoca, que foi a fumaça, mandou ficar todo mundo sentado. E acabou! Muito fofo. Lá fora eu falo o que eu achei.
Everybody, how's it going? Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name's Josh Horowitz. I host a podcast called Happy, Sad, Confused. But tonight, I'm so privileged to be here with this amazing cast, this amazing director, the Thursday Murder Club. You're in the right place, guys. Thank you again for being here. You enjoyed our 17-minute intermission? That's fake news of the film. You see, we're mirroring the Netflix experience. When you watch it at home, you can pause it at any time. This is all planned out, obviously. No, I think it's a testament to how great this film is that you all stuck through it and you clearly enjoyed the film. So thank you, thank you, thank you. This film drops on Netflix August 28th. You have bragging rights. You can spread the good word. I know you will. Yes. Yes. Obviously, this is based on the best-selling book, a worldwide bestseller. There are more books, so hopefully there'll be more films. Let's get right to it. We have 4 seats to fill up. The only prerequisite tonight is they have to be filled by legends. Luckily, I have 4 legends backstage. Are you ready for this? Here they are. Mr. Ben Kingsley. Give it up. Give it up one more time for the Thursday Murder Club. Here we are. Hey guys.
Thank you. I want to shout, I forgot one name, Tom Ellis, who plays Jason, who's here.
Yeah.
He was on my handwritten list. I gave him the list to prove that I didn't forget him. So I apologize.
And we miss Celia
We
a lot.
definitely
She
miss
doesn't
Celia.
fly, and that's why she's not with us. Otherwise, she would be sitting up here on the stage.
We do miss her. After a little video yesterday, Helen and I were saying we miss you.
I know at least a couple of you were in the audience enjoying it. Chris, Helen, what was it like to see this with an audience, to feel the energy in the room?
Absolutely, the first time I saw it finished. I've seen it a couple of times when it was a rough cut, but it was an incredible experience, even with the fire alarms. I really appreciated the response. Thank you. It was great.
So it's a shame you had to settle for this cast, Chris. Obviously, way down the list. I guess we'll settle for these 3. I mean, this is a murderer's row, pun intended. Amazing cast. When you guys get on set, you look around, that must instill a lot of confidence to see the likes of each other on a set like this. Give me a sense.
Well, we had to form, speaking of Celia's, we do miss her very much, but it was a quartet.
Yeah.
And therefore, I mean, we all, with all modesty, we're all virtuoso performers. But then to form a quartet out of that
it takes really, a lot of listening, a lot of attention, a lot of affection for one's fellow players, and that was the joy. And we stepped up to the plate because the real maestro is sitting there.
Did any of you have familiarity with this beloved book series prior to encountering the script?
Honestly, I didn't.
Yeah.
Nor did I.
I did, absolutely. All my girlfriends had said, oh, this is a great book, you've got to read it. And that's how bestsellers are made, by word of mouth. And I absolutely inhaled the first book and the second. So
when you're reading it, do you have that in the back of your brain like, that's a character that would be interesting?
Embarrassingly, yes. Mortified, but yes.
So that's a good phone call to get from Chris Columbus, I would
fantastic
imagine.
phone call to get, absolutely. When I heard it had been bought by Steven Spielberg, I thought, oh, there goes my chances. I'll never get the Steven Spielberg call. But yeah, I was thrilled to be asked, yeah.
More challenging to cast these three or the three Harry Potter kids?
The interesting comparison, ironically, is that on Potter, we made a list of all of our first choices. And it was Maggie Smith and Richard Harris and Robbie Coltrane, and they all said yes. And that has not happened to me in 20 years until this book. And it was Helen Mirren, Sir Ben Kingsley, Pierce Brosnan, Celia Imrie, and they all said yes. So, it inspires you to only want to work with British actors because they say yes. I don't know, but it was really it was a labor of love, as I said at the beginning, because when I walked in the first day of rehearsal, when we were reading through the script, the four of them were sitting there, and it was 160 years of British cinema, and it's very intimidating. So I could hear my voice going, hello. And it was, they just set such a level of trust. I felt trusted, and I hope you all felt trusted. It was just this level of trust that we all had through the course of the film. And I think you can see it on screen.
Definitely. Pierce, it's been over 30 years since you were subjected to a run by fruiting in a Chris Columbus movie. Is it an easy yes when Chris comes calling?
Easy yes. It's a very easy yes. I mean, Chris brings such a bonhomie and such a joy, and he loves film. He loves actors. He loves storytelling, and he has just such an open heart of passion. And I think that four of us felt at such ease. I wasn't at the read-through, I don't think. I couldn't make the read-through.
Right, exactly.
So I was whatever I was doing. But I'm working, I think. I've been working all year. I've been working all my life. But yes, one wants to work. But yeah, I have such a great admiration for Sir Ben and Dame Helen, and Celia and I had worked together. Dame Helen and I had my first movie was The Long Good Friday, but we never worked together. And so for me to walk on just like you, Chris, to be in the company of Sir Ben and Dame Helen was powerful, really powerful, but so easy because they're so gifted, so beautiful, great human beings to be with. We all became pals. We became a company of actors. We all come from the stage, so it was glorious.
It was on the stage where you two, I think, first collaborated. Isn't that true?
Yes, we were in the Royal Shakespeare Company together under the great leadership of Trevor Nunn, who has formed the most amazing company that stayed together basically for about 10 years, that core company. And Helen and I first worked together on Revenge's Tragedy, and then the second time I think we worked together was probably John Barton's Troilus and Cressida, where Dame Helen was an extraordinary, of course, Cressida. I can still hear and experience the whole thing. It's laminated into my memory, but we were blessed, weren't we, to be in that great company and work on that great text. And I think it's left us with an affection for writers and a respect for the written word. And
a sense of company.
Yes,
very, very much
collaboration, listening to the other, working with the other, and sensing the rhythm of the event even if it's between action and cut, it's still an event, and it has its own rhythm, and we celebrated that all together.
And what a joy to, you know, endure and succeed as you move through the business, to encounter each other at different points in your lives, in a much different kind of context. I mean, it's the gift that keeps on giving. Amazing. Chris, we're talking about adaptation. You've done some major adaptations before. Talk to me a little bit about the challenges, rewards of taking Richard's material and turning it into a film.
You know, I've done a couple of successful adaptations and a couple of really unsuccessful adaptations. And it's a very simple recipe, which is the books I fell in love with, I brought to the screen. So in terms of Harry Potter and this, I was totally in love. I was a fan. So coming to this movie as a fan, really I wanted to be faithful to the book. If you know the book, we're not 100% faithful because the third act is much more complex and much more, I don't want to say rambling, but you know, there are different, they go to Greece at one point, so we couldn't do that. But at the same time, yeah, sequel, behind a sequel, that's but it was a labor of love, and I felt this real, I just felt a duty to Richard Osman and the book and the fans, particularly in the UK, who were obsessed with the book. And I also fell in love with the characters. I felt that this was a murder mystery. I was intrigued to do a murder mystery, but the characters were so complex and so funny. And this is a murder mystery, unlike so many other murder mysteries. They're either cold and procedural or over the top, which can be sort of the Agatha Christie version. And I felt that this had such a human sort of soul, and it was very moving. And it was the most sort of emotionally moving murder mystery I'd read, and so I wanted to do it.
Yeah, I would imagine for all of you, I mean, you know, obviously beyond the script and working with Chris, it is kind of twofold. You get to be in this kind of classic genre that there's so many great ones who've done it, but also there is this other layer that's really poignant and resonant about, you know, all of us, you know, being of use at every age and finding a purpose. To that, I mean, we all feel that, right, as we age, and we all like want to feel relevant and important and of use. Did that, I don't know, does that click in with all of you as you're reading the script as a theme that resonated?
Where this genre, where this signal comes from, I think there is an underlying anxiety that wonderful generational thread might snap. And if it does, it's going to be a terrible loss to us as a culture and a civilization. And I think that given the response from this wonderful audience, that they were somehow waiting for somebody to tell them that there is a generational journey that has its beauty and its information, its wisdom, and we should try and keep it intact. So I think we're maybe tapping into a need from our tribe that says, please remind everybody that we are one, you know, separated by age, but we are one.
You were saying before, I mean, part of, again, what makes this work is the characters are so distinct and vibrant, and it sounds like you keyed into that when you read the original book. What do you love about Elizabeth? This seems like a joyous character to play.
Oh, I think all of the characters, you know, I mean, I think the difficulty when you're taking a piece of literature and putting it onto the screen, you know, it's a very, very different art form, a film to a book, and you can not investigate character, but you can express character on a page with the descriptions, and Richard does that so brilliantly in the books, that the characters are so funny and real, and he can do it with just a couple of little throwaway lines, and to try and sort of replicate that on the screen. And that our job as actors was to try and, you know, embody those characters and bring all the subtlety that Richard writes into them, without necessarily explaining or, you know. So that was the challenge for us, I thought, and I have to say, I think my fellow actors did it brilliantly. And Ben, that was such an amazing description of age and youth that you just expressed. I thought that was incredible. Age and youth and middle age and everything, and the whole journey of life. And yes, this film is about the journey of life as much as anything, and you know, and it talks about all the tragedies of how can I put the respect in the liveliness of how one can be I'm 80 years old.
Happy birthday.
If I said I was 40, would you applaud me?
I'm 150 years old, guys. Get it up for me.
But anyway, Ben put it the best. That was great.
And that's actually interesting that you said that, because I want to give Ben a little credit. The eulogy at the end of the film was written, and the day before we were about to shoot, so Ben came up to me and said, I've written a little something, I've changed a few words, and he read me the eulogy you see on screen. And it wasn't in Richard's book, by the way, but it was so much better than what was written, and we actually shot exactly what Ben had written.
There's a lesson there. Hire really good actors, really smart, good actors.
Who are also writers. Yeah.
They're also writers. Pierce, The Appeal of Ron, he's a fan favorite, of course. What did you love about this guy, this character?
Oh, I mean, Ron and I are kind of joined at the hip in some regards. I never asked Chris, when I wasn't aware of the books, Chris called me up and said, I'm doing Thursday Murder Club. I read the book, I fell in love with the book, I fell in love with all the characters and my character. But I never asked him really why he cast me as this character, because I could see other men playing this character. But nevertheless, I identified with Ron's passion for doing good things, by his fellow man and woman, by being a passionate man and someone who really at this time in his life is, you know, there's a certain lament in his heart, and he doesn't want to be there, but he knows he has to be there in the home. And you know, it was the love of the characters. It was his love for Ibsy and for Elizabeth, and then Joyce, who seems to capture his heart. And so this is a love story. It's a love story between these four people who are so vibrant and so alive and have such a creative, passionate zest for life. And that's what I brought, I tried to bring to Ron. And, you know, you try to, again, I mean, Chris gave me so much and gave us all so much each and every day. And then, as I say, standing before Ben and Helen and Celia, they just made me real. They gave me a life. And they made me present. I just enjoyed it enormously.
And last thing for you, being the American, how does that sit with you on set? Do you feel a little bit like,
Well, I had already
to defer to them?
No, I'd already been through it with Potter, so. And it goes back to my love. I mean, personally, it goes back to my love of everything British. I mean, my cousin Artie is here tonight, who grew up with me watching Hard Day's Night and Help, and we were huge Beatles fans, and we sang in fake British accents. We sang all the songs. But I also grew up on the Hammer films, and ironically, Home Alone was based on, my inspiration for Home Alone was David Lean's Great Expectations, the first 20 minutes of that. So I'm pretty well steeped in the culture. And I dealt with all of the jokes and the ridiculousness when I started Harry Potter. The first 2 weeks, the crew was completely suspicious of me. Thought, what's this Yank doing here? You know, I heard all the Christopher Columbus jokes. But then you have to keep up. You have to keep up a certain level. The thing about working with the Brits is you have to keep up a certain level of humor. It's self-deprecating humor, and you have to be as sharp as fuck. That's the only thing I can say. And you cannot ever if you lose your step, you lose your step for the whole shoot. So for me, it was, you know, casting, you know, all of these incredibly brilliant, funny people and just keeping up with them, you know. So that, I hope that endeared me to the crew the second time. You know, it was a lot of work on Potter to get that, you know, sort of support from the crew, and then, you know, I kind of felt a lot more comfortable going back for the second time on this movie.
I think they seem to like you, Chris. I think you're good.
I'd do it again in a second.
Well, I was gonna say, we ready to do more, guys? We ready for another one? As I said, this film drops on Netflix August 28th. You've seen it early. Spread the good word and give it up for this amazing group. Thank you.
Ai, é sempre aquela muvuca pra sair, mas é isso, gente. Eu espero muito que vocês tenham gostado. O filme é incrível. Eu não li o livro, eu devia ter lido o livro, né, antes de vir ver. Mas enfim, eu quero muito ler agora o livro porque eu fiquei muito curiosa e eu sei que tem continuação e o diretor falou, né, que pode ter uma continuação dos filmes também, se fizer sucesso. Tomara que faça, porque é muito fofo. Tem uma vibe Agatha Christie, até que eu achei que era da Agatha Christie quando eu vi o nome, aí depois que eu fui pesquisar eu falei, opa, não é da Agatha Christie. Mas é muito incrível e eu super recomendo vocês verem. Vai estar disponível na Netflix no dia 28 de agosto. Eu não sei quando eu vou postar esse vídeo, então provavelmente vai ser antes do dia 28 de agosto, mas aí no dia 28 vai estar liberado para toda a Netflix do mundo inteiro. Então eu super recomendo vocês assistirem. Quem gosta de livro vai amar, e quem gosta de mistério, assassinato, investigação policial, essas coisas, é muito legal, muito divertido. Tem umas piadinhas que eu tenho certeza que vão adaptar e vai ficar bem legal, né, na dublagem, mas assistir em inglês também é legal porque é inglês britânico, então é muito fofo. E é isso, gente, espero que vocês tenham gostado. Se vocês gostaram, deixa o like, se é novo, se inscreva aqui no canal e eu vejo vocês num próximo vídeo.